Hola, Internet amigos. Today's date is Saturday, 28th of February, 2026. It is 6:56 a.m. Central Standard Time, Querétaro, Mexico. I woke this morning and let's talk the Iran war. Surprisingly, a video made over a week ago is kind of very apt right now. Of course, Epstein files is always a factor. Many factors about shifting the news cycle. Remember, it's all about news cycle. And if you don't know, my name is Brendon Lee O'Connell. I'm an Australian citizen on the run. Our biggest, well, espionage case in history. It's you've never heard of me. I've worked in Iran. Was going to have a travel show. Been to Lebanon with Sufyan, a Saudi national. Tried to change things. Met with Professor Hakim. Got my Russian GRU, Cuban DJI cigar in Beirut, and again, my numbers go up in terms of subscribers, and then the views just keep going down and down and down, and so does the money. It's an amazing world. But Tucker Carlson's flying around on private jets, backwards and forwards to Israel, and he's going to save the world. Of course, Tucker is being groomed for a future political role. The usual garbage. All whores for Babylon. Candace Owens. I just watched her garbage on Erica Kirk. I mean, it's all true, but no one will tell us. And we're going to talk about the reporting so far, and we'll talk about a war and what a real Iran would really look like. Iran is a product of the City of London, as we've said over and over. The Ayatollah Khamenei in 1979 came out of a Paris commune with a German intelligence film crew. That is Evelyn de Rothschild, David de Rothschild. You had former President Rouhani, who was there when I was there in Iran. He's backwards and forwards to Scottish universities, hanging with Jack Straw and Lord Levi. That is 1 degree of separation from Lord Jacob Rothschild. Whitney Webb, never going to tell you, because she's with Mint Press News and she's part of that whole intelligence crew. So you've known the background, all right? It's a fraud. Iran is there. They set up the Wahhabis in 75, got rid of the Shah in 79, of course, and set up the theocracies in Saudi and theocracies in the dialectic in Iran. And that's the way the Kissinger-Rothschild network works. It sets up dialectics, always, siempre, always. And that's the game, which is to force the Sunni Islam, particularly the Arabs, and pan-Arab nationalism, smash everything with the Ode Genome plan. And this is pan-Arab nationalism, and reshape the Middle East for the benefit of Israel. You know the story. You know how it works. So this is why we know Candace is a fraud, Tucker Carlson's a joke fraud. All of them are absolute frauds. The Iranian leadership are frauds. They're all running backwards and forwards to Switzerland. I know, because I was right there. I saw the whole thing. Okay? End of story. Now, we're going to watch a bit of this garbage. This reporter, it's classic Iraq, when the sirens went, it was all arranged. And oh my God, here come the ballistic missiles. So before we start listening to this, 5 minutes of this absolute stinking garbage, know this. They're talking about decapitation strikes. I'd be surprised, but, it makes sense. I said before they might let the Ayatollah run to Russia, and it's kind of a humiliation for him. Just remember how they took out Hezbollah. Remember Hezbollah? Boom, boom, boom. In a week, they took out 3. Why do they know? Every Islamic terror network, when they want to pull it apart, it just goes like that instantly. Because they run them all. Islamic terror is an MI6 British intelligence creation. British intelligence is really City of London. Not all of it, because a lot of British intelligence MI6 have been complaining, just like US CIA, just like NSA. Lots and lots of employees have been complaining about London stand. All the Russian oligarchs, all Putin's best buddies, they're all in London. All their investment properties are in London. All their bank accounts are in London. Hello. It's like Qatar. There's Hamas leadership in the 5-star hotels, literally next to the biggest UK-US base in the world, in Qatar. Hello. Then we have BB's emissions, all this stuff. The Israeli press reveals that they were funding Hamas, and it's really coming out now, and it's going to keep coming out. So we'll keep getting these little wars. And we've got to understand the fraud of it all. The world is a stage. Your first port of call, your first instinct to anything that's in our faces. Remember, if it's in your face and it's all over the internet and it's going viral, it's a lie. All right? It's a lie by omission, or it's a lie by the actual content. But if you're seeing it everywhere, look at people say, I read your UN refugee document. How the hell aren't you a movie? How the hell aren't you on the news? Well, what do you think? I've been approached, Pentagon, or James McMahon, Colonel SAS retired, invited that with ministers intimately involved with our former Jesuit Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, who's hanging with the Windsors. That's who I've been invited out with. And, I tell the stories for people, the odd person that doesn't know. You just look below and you'll see a link to my UN document. 1,018 pages. The electronic version is highly clickable. You can click around and read it and you'll just blow your mind. The bottom line is they suppress what they don't want seen, as Patrick Berge says. They don't spend tens of billions of dollars so you can get your message out. You can bypass them by getting offline, but, why do that? A lot of coffee mugs and swag to sell. So we see this in terms of, we'll watch 5 minutes of the garbage reporting. It's like, oh my God, it's Iraq all over again, the sirens, and oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, we're live. And we'll talk about what a real attack would look like. And if you don't know me, go and watch my previous videos. Watch the previous one on YouTube. It's on YouTube, and it'll explain everything. Okay, your first port of call, whenever the news cycle is being ramped up, as it is now because of Epstein and other things, what you're going to see is lies. Obviously, everything is a lie. All right, that is your first port of call, but you shouldn't just be reactionary and belligerent. That's just your starting point. Then as evidence comes in, if you're geopolitically inclined and you're selling coffee mugs and swag online, then, and you actually want to at least be partially accurate, then you're going to have to start that point. Lie. It's a lie. Everything is a lie. Everyone is an actor. And we'll talk about, we'll talk about Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and all the rest in a minute. And I'll tell you exactly what they're about. It's not a real fight, all right? This is the way things are handled. This is the way populations are handled. This is the way narratives are handled. This is how you manufacture consent in a variable population. This is psychological warfare 101, should be taught in schools. Maybe one day it will be if we're still alive. So everything is a lie, start there, but don't be belligerent and reactionary only. You got to look for evidence and data, and there's positive stuff in amongst all the negative. But again, you got to have the bar high. And the bar is no Trump, get rid of him. All right, just start anywhere but Trump, anywhere but Emanuel. And here's the minimum standard before we talk about the stuff about Iran. Here's the minimum standard. If Candace Owens can't tell me who did 9/11, if Tucker Carlson is not only not telling me who did 9/11, but making fake 4-part series that are an utter joke on 9/11, blaming Condi Rice, George W. Bush. Dick Cheney barely gets a mention. They're still scared of him. And the CIA did it basically. So it's Whitney Webb, Clayton Morris, his redacted friend who stole $5 million and ran to Portugal. I see them doing the rounds with Colonel McGregor. If you see Colonel McGregor, everything is a lie, all right? If you see Clown, Kierakowski, whatever his name is, the Greek guy who chucked a fit because Obama went after him, allegedly, because they plant their people around the place. He's everywhere online. He can't tell you who did 9/11. McGregor can't tell you who did 9/11. None of them can tell you who did 9/11. They can't tell you who Chris Boleyn is. That's the first test. If you are the sworn enemy of the perfidious Jew, and they're all, when you're Tucker Carlson and you're willing to get up on a World Wrestling Federation Ari Emanuel stage, Ari Emanuel, Rahm Emanuel, Rahm handles the left, Ari handles the right. Ari Emanuel runs the UFC, he runs Joe Rogan, he's a Hollywood agent if you didn't know. He runs the World Wrestling Federation, he owns the whole thing under Endeavor Group. He runs Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, all of them, and Donald Trump for 20 years. There's your stage actors. Whenever you watch the World Wrestling Federation, now go and watch a Charlie Kirk memorial and then say, gee, they look identical. Same stage sort of stuff, same sparks and fireworks, same garbage. Yeah, because it'll be the same cameras, the same producers, the same directors, the same camera people. It'll all be the same people. And that'll be the same film crews and camera crews that are in those giant 40,000 seat evangelical stadiums. Those evangelical stadiums are an Israeli, British MI6 operation, linked in with Russia, linked in with Yuri Andropov. I'm listening to a fantastic audiobook right now, Putin's Friends. Wow, goes into Kissinger, Primakov. Wait for that one, new video coming. It'll get 2,000 views. So we have, this World Wrestling Federation stage. Is Tucker Carlson going to say Ari Emanuel? Nope. Is Candace Owens going to tell me who Ari Emanuel and Rahm Emanuel are? Rahm Emanuel was, of course, President Obama's chief of staff. Okay, the brothers. So wait a minute, tell me who they are, Tucker. You're the sworn enemy of the Jew. So you get up on an Ari Emanuel World Wrestling Federation stage, at the Charlie Kirk Memorial. You literally get up and you say, the Jews killed Jesus and they killed Charlie Kirk too. That is literally what he said. And before he went, with that crazy, I never thought I'd agree with Laura Loomer, but that was creepy. It was creepy. Weird. He's weird. He's an empty vessel. He's a dog looking for a master. There's nothing inside Tucker Carlson. He can say the demon scratched his back, and he's got Fatima behind him. He's got his carefully choreographed stage set. He's flying on private aircraft to do his interviews with Huckabee. I think you can work it out sooner or later. Making millions of dollars a year. He's got a permanent staff of 5 to 7. There's Candace doing similar things. But if you're willing to come up and call the perfidious Jew killed Jesus and they killed Charlie Kirk too. So now he's got our attention. Him, Candace, Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly's talking to Tucker. I'm meeting with the president. I love President Trump. There's Tucker Carlson who just criticized. He's a moron. Everyone hates Trump, all right? I hate to break it to you. Everybody hates him. Everybody. Nobody likes him. Nobody. Not even his own wife. For obvious reasons. As if the Republic requires an orange clown with a small pee-pee, which is what he's worried about people finding out about. It's that low. He's been around organized crime his entire damn life. We know what he is. I'm outcomes based. If he can do the job, fine. He can't do the job because he's a vile, corrupt, disgusting piece of garbage. And we can argue most of them are. Fancy that. Just please get rid of him and put someone else in. I don't care who. Do a John Hinckley when Reagan was shot up close. Put a round through his liver and send him back to Mar-a-Lago as a hero. We'll deal with J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel, which is really the Department of War anyway. That's who you're dealing with anyway. Just give me something. I can't stand the sight of him. Please give me something new. Someone who can lie to me and I can believe in it. This Susie Wiles, Ari Emanuel roadshow has to go. It has to go. It's an insult to people everywhere, all over the world, including Americans. But this roadshow, Tucker Carlson ain't going to tell you. Candace Owens won't tell you. Megyn Kelly ain't going to tell you. She's got up, and I'll do a video on it later, and she's talking to Tucker, and Tucker's loving the president. I'm friends with the president. Boo, Israel. We can't go to war. This is the what? Boris Verevsky in Russia. Vladislav Surkov. Thank you, Adam Curtis of the BBC. You remember they said, we're going to create this vibrant, vicious, really Overton window. We'll give them a stage, we'll give them a coliseum, and then let the games begin. And Megyn Kelly saying with a straight face recently, 24 hours ago, it's so vicious, isn't it? Isn't it, Tucker? It's worse than Fox News. Oh my goodness, they call me nasty names. Ben Shapiro is trying and Barry Weiss are trying to run me off X. Oh, and Tucker's, I know, Megyn, hang in there, my sweet, you multi-millionaire with your 7 investment properties and flying on a private aircraft with our friends from Texas. Oh, yes. Oh, you poor baby. I mean, I sit there and I just think, I'm getting demoralized and depressed. I suffer depression a lot lately. I'll just let you know. I got up early because I have to finish that other video on Pax Silica, and boy, my money just goes ding 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 ding. We'll be down around $3,500 a month, and it's dropping rapidly. So I can tell what they want me to talk about, what they don't want me to talk about. They don't want you to talk about 9/11, and they don't want you to talk about Pax Silica right now. The current no-go is Pax Silica, even though it's slowly spreading. There's a few little things starting, which is a good sign, but we'll see how it gets twisted because their people are everywhere. Patrick Berge, Shadowgate, he said to my face, Brendon, they don't spend tens of billions of dollars so you can get your message out. If you're online, you can't win. And it's true. I'm surviving, that's all. That's why you're seeing this video. I'm surviving. It's Saturday. It's the 28th of February. I'll probably catch up with someone for lunch. That's my most exciting thing, but I really want to get that video out ASAP about Pax Silica. It's really important. Why was El Mencho killed? Because they have to clean up all of the Mexican organized crime. They want it all professionalized like America, still be an oligarchy, and they'll hide it behind a big federal government to make out we actually have a choice. And it'll all be these corrupt families. It's not going to last, I promise you. Pluto is in Aquarius. It's not going to last. It's unraveling day by day by day. Watch them scamper. Watch them run. They're going to lose. But the only question is how many die along the way. Don't worry, it's usually people in the Middle East, brown and black people, but America, you'll be fine. Okay, so if you're worried about your wallet, there will be some ups and downs, but I promise you by December 7, 2026, when we meet, I'm going to ask, how is everyone? And you're going to worry through 2030, 2033. That's going to be an interesting year. And you're going to have worried yourself sick when you should have been plotting, planning, scheming, praying. If you notice a change in me, I'm going to talk about that because I had to approach things differently. Psychology wasn't working, tapping wasn't working. I had to start doing some very serious, dare I say, Catholic anti-demonic prayer. You will notice the difference. I feel like a different person. It's not perfect, but I feel like a different person. I felt like I was losing my mind, and I've spoken with an expert on witchcraft, curses, Kabbalah, and I'm starting to feel better. Look, I'm a science guy, but I understand the supernatural. Jung, synchronicity, and acausal connecting principle, Wolfgang Pauli, what is science, what is religion, are coming closer together. What is a miracle, quantum, all that stuff. But I'm moving slowly more towards taking prayer seriously, really seriously, which of course you should do anyway. But I also try to keep a bit secular because I want to have an inclusive group of just sincere people. Let's all just be sincere. Sincere Muslims, Christians, Jews, sincere communists, sincere atheists. Just be sincere. But I realize I have to wear it on my sleeve a little more, and I'm a little concerned about all these Catholic converts appearing on the horizon suddenly. But maybe there's an energy moving. I don't know. But Tucker Carlson's full of it. He's being groomed. He is a demon. He's a demon. He is an empty vessel. I say this literally. And I keep telling people, you must think for yourself. Don't get caught up in the drama, the circus show, the bearded ladies, the trapeze artists, the clowns. Do not get caught up in that. Please keep it simple. Hamas, they're all in 5-star hotels next to the largest US airbase in the world, in Qatar, outside the US, where John Bolton has the same coffees at the same Starbucks. That's not quite right. Bibi's funding Hamas. How does Hezbollah spend $3 billion a year when all that money is easily tracked? The NSA knows where all the accounts are. They know the Bitcoin. They keep saying, oh my God, this is untrackable Bitcoin, untrackable crypto. And then, of course, you find out, no, it's not untrackable. They're tracking everything. It's a bit like when digital phones came out for the first time, when analog to digital mobile phones, and the FBI came out and did these huge, oh my God, we must ban these digital phones. They're encrypted. We can't listen to anyone. Of course, it was a huge lie, and all the suckers, all the drug dealers started talking openly on their phones, and they were busting people left and right. They always do this little scam. Oh, we need more powers. We can't listen. And they listen into everything. They're in the hardware. There's no digital electronic device you're using that they don't have complete, full, unfettered access to at all times, automatically most of the time, particularly if you're a person of interest. But this is the garbage they're going to feed you. So tell me Candace and Megan and Tucker, our new heroes. They've got our attention. Boo the Jews. Candace is exposing Bridget Macron's penis. Probably it's true. They're using real information. It's true. You know, Candace even mentioned Kay Gertz for 3 seconds. Don't worry. Good old Alex Jones has been making a career out of name dropping and becoming a millionaire, and Candace will too. But we still can't tell me who did 9/11. I don't want to hear about Bridget Macron's penis even. I don't care. Tell me who did 9/11. Who killed 3,000 Americans over a couple of hours, blew up the Pentagon, 2 planes into tall buildings. They collapsed to the ground. Does everyone remember? Who did that? Who is Christopher Bolin? What is the Oda Genome Plan? They can't tell you. In fact, they openly lie. That's how you know it's a fraud. It is a fraud. There is nothing political about this. If you're willing to come out and rag on the Jews killed Jesus and they killed Charlie Kirk too. If you're willing to do all that stuff, but you won't tell me who did 9/11, you're clearly a plant and you are damage control. And you're going to create the Overton window, and then everyone's going to come in and fight in that Overton window. Only that window, only that view. Just as Boris Berezovsky said, just as Adam Koitis reported with Vladislav Surkov, the stage theater actor, hello, our Emanuel, Rome Emanuel, theater, stage actors, and there's Vladislav Surkov running all the political parties in Russia, these vibrant new political parties, and they're all fake, all run by the same people, to create the illusion of a vibrant political side. This side, they're arguing here, they're arguing, oh, look at this argument, but nothing changes. Everyone just sits on their butts and buys coffee mugs and t-shirts, and the wars and the deception roll along. Sometimes these things are handled quietly. I put to you, this is not the time for that. They are not stopping. If I saw, here's the biggest tell I could tell you. If I saw the United States come out and in rhetoric and legislation and say, the president himself, we are going to ban automated killing machines. A human will always be in the loop. The legislation is being prepared. We are in great danger from this AI, but we must continue. We must continue. But we're going to put in some really big constraints on this stuff. Okay, great. I hear that rhetoric zero. I hear a little bit here, a little bit there. And that's just drama control. I call it drama control. All right, they're just controlling the drama so it doesn't get too hysterical, too out of hand. But if getting back to the war in Iran, so you tell me when Tucker's going to tell me who did 9/11, what is the Ode Genome Plan, who is Chris Boleyn, who killed 3,000 Americans, and then killed another 10,000 from breathing in the toxic asbestos-ridden dust, and then who killed, who profited off that, then who killed 2 million Arabs, Syrians, Iraqis, Libyans. Who did that? Tell me the narrative, Tucker, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, after you finish with Brigham Macron's dick, or that Erica Kirk is a Manchurian candidate, and she is. She's the demon. Ooh, I get the shivers just looking at it. And I'm thinking Charlie Kirk at least was kind of real. He was real. He was an asshole. Charlie Kirk was an asshole. Hey, I'm sorry. I love Bassem Youssef. And he said that guy was calling for the death of Muslims, mocking Muslims, laughing at Muslims. Laughing that when Gaza was being flattened, Charlie Kirk was there, all you guys supporting the Muslims, you'd be thrown off the roofs, but they don't have any roofs anymore. I hate him. I can't stand him. I'm sorry, where was he? Show me one single bit of compassion for fellow human beings in the Middle East, ever, after the last 20, 25 years of hell visited upon our Arab people are very hospitable and very nice people. Generally, except the ones they get out of prison and fill with crystal methamphetamine and then go around lopping people's heads off. Apart from those people, the misery that has been caused in that region. Where's the apology? Where's the understanding? Where's the compassion? Where's the truth? Charlie Kirk didn't have a drop till the day he got it in the neck. And I ain't sorry, and I don't give a damn about him. He was seeing the light. You tell me where he saw the light. He had a text message which said, they're taking $2 million off me. I don't know if I can support Israel anymore. It was about money, stupid. He was worried about the money and they were being mean to him because he was asking questions. Why? He had to ask questions because TikTok had been unleashed. The Chinese were upset. The multipolar world order was over. They were doing everything they could to get leverage. The Chinese were trying to get leverage. And they started exposing the whole thing. So Charlie Kirk, might have to do a pivot, pivot. Might have to tack the sails, do a bit of tacking in my yacht, adjust the sails. So don't buy it, not for a second. The demons won and all that whole scene disgusts me. And of course, Lee Levino gets up in front of Charlie Kirk on camera and says, Israeli military intelligence unit 8200 and Russian penetration of Israel. Maybe that killed Charlie Kirk ultimately, because Charlie Kirk would understand that language. He's the West Point boy, remember? He was applying for West Point, couldn't get in, or maybe he was diverted somewhere else. They said, instead of West Point, we're going to use you for some other military operation. You know what I'm saying? So maybe Lee Levino got Charlie Kirk killed. That's the most likely option, because that's the data that really matters. No one cares about dead Arabs. They never care about that. But if you go after national security, they start caring. And now we see Pax Silica. Maybe Candace will talk about Pax Silica. Maybe Megyn Kelly, the whore of Fox News, always on her knees at Fox News. Maybe she will tell us about Pax Silica. Maybe Tucker Carlson will tell us about Pax Silica and Rad Group and Radcom and programmable logic chips and industrial controller chips. And it's all going to be AI sitting over the top of critical infrastructure in real time. Hey, I'm watching it unfold right here in Querétaro, Mexico. Rad Group's moving right in. And that's what El Metro's about. Cleaning up, getting ready for the smart cities to lock up the Mexicans. And why not? We'll lock the Mexicans up first, see how it goes, see how it grows, see how it goes, the smart city stuff. And we'll give people a chance to get used to it. We'll show the new border areas, Tijuana's at peace, Mexicali's at peace, Hermosillo's at peace, Monterrey's at peace, the poorer parts of Monterrey, not just the rich parts, San Pedro. My God, I've never seen so much money in all my life in Mexico. San Pedro, Monterrey, Nuevo León. And of course, Guadalajara, which is the epicenter of the new AI revolution, the epicenter where they actually take the GPUs, hundreds of millions of dollars worth. They don't want El Mencho hanging around trying to kidnap the drivers on the trucks or pour nitric acid onto the fiber optic cables that they've got in, as they make Mexico an administrative center to administer Central and South America for US elites. So with all this in mind, Guadalajara, Jalisco, that's the epicenter. I had no idea. I knew it was big, but I didn't know it was that big. That's where they assemble all the server racks for Project Stargate. They are literally assembling all, and I mean all, 20,000 server racks a week. Or is that a month? It's either a month or a week. It's a huge number. There's hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars worth. $500 million invested, another 200 million to go, another 200 million in the north, Mexicali and Tijuana, Nogales, and Hermosillo in the northern states. Once you understand all that, they're going to test it on the Mexicans first, and people go, wow, that looks really nice. They're going to talk about the violence beforehand. Now they're going to show green grass, people at peace, children playing. All the cameras are kind of hidden away and in very subtle, the microphones, the real-time AI. They'll go to the data center. Here's the heart of the new smart city in Hermosillo or Guadalajara or Tijuana. Tijuana, formerly a horrendous crime-ridden, and in fact, Tijuana, I was the only city I've ever felt totally, whoa, I need to get off this street now with my suitcases and my backpack full of cameras and drones. I need to get off this street now. It's the first time it's ever happened to me in my life. Tijuana, first place I felt scared in. Ran into a Starbucks and went, whoa. My instincts were firing because I'm like a dumb Australian. Yeah, I just wander around. I'm a dumb Australian. And that's the first. I walked around Beirut feeling totally safe. Didn't feel that in Tijuana. So with these things in mind, as this war in Iran, we're going to watch a bit of this crap. Okay? And if it was a real war, I'll tell you what a real war would look like, or a real exchange of gunfire. All right? The Islamic Terror Network is a construction of MI6, MI5, German intelligence, French intelligence. Really, it's Rothschild. All right, it's David and Evelyn de Rothschild in the Europe and the EU, City of London. That is its stave-etching thing. Why Odi Genon building up the Federated States of Greater Israel? There's positive signs. They're putting big bases, US bases, and data centers, US run in Israel. There are positive signs. However, all I see is a new bunch of assholes who want to build automated killing machines, and that's a problem. Probably going to test them all out on the Mexicans first. Let's watch a bit of this garbage.
Yeah, Griff, this is breaking news. A senior Israeli official tells Fox News that Iran's supreme leader and Iran's president were targeted in strikes against the Iranian capital of Tehran. Also targeted were the commanding officers responsible, according to this official, for the mass murder of Iranian protesters. The official adds that battle damage assessments will come out later. But again, this is a massive development. A senior Israeli official telling Fox News that Iran's supreme leader and Iran's president, so the Ayatollah Khamenei and Masoud Pezeshkian, were targeted in Israeli strikes against the capital of Tehran. We don't know if they were successful as of yet. These battle damage assessments take some time, but it gives you a sense that the Americans and the Israelis, again, chose the most significant option that was on the table for military action against Iran. At this hour, the Iranians are still responding with ballistic missile fire against Israel. More alerts just sounded on phones across this country, urging people to get into bomb shelters. This will be a back and forth that continues in the days ahead as the Iranians not just continue their targeting of Israel, but also regional Gulf countries, from the UAE to Saudi Arabia to Bahrain. This is a regional war that is developing following these American and Israeli strikes against Iranian leadership.
Whoa.
You can hear that right now, Griff. Air raid sirens are sounding across Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv. Stay with me here. Can you grab my vest? Just stay
that is classic Iraq War, 2003. Classic. 1991. 1990.
Protective wear, the jacket there. Sirens are ringing across Tel Aviv. Sirens are rung across Jerusalem, Iran. Clearly,
my heart's beating. It's still my beating heart.
The bomb shelters and train.
Gosh.
Moment there.
Oh my goodness. Got a green screen behind
right
me?
now, this is a defining moment. Israeli cities are under attack. And again, we can report to you at this hour, a senior Israeli official tells Fox News that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, and Iran's president, Masoud Pezeshkian, were targeted in these strikes. The Israelis looking to decapitate Iranian leadership, to, as how some described in the planning process, cut the head of the snake. And the Americans supporting the Israelis in these strikes. This was a combined effort. to take out Iranian leadership. We, again, don't have the battle damage assessments, but just stay with me here. Okay, you can see right now, there's a missile interceptor.
Whoa!
And my cameraman's going to stay on it. There's two of them right now soaring through the skies over Tel Aviv.
It's a bird, it's a
you can see those
plane.
lines of white smoke. Those are the interceptors that are currently in the air right now.
All right, classic Iraq War, 1990, they did the same thing. Gas is coming. I put my gas mask on. Do you remember it all? Remember the old green screens in 2003? They did the same thing. It's the same play. They don't even change the play. They don't even... Yeah, Emanuel, come on, jazz it up, baby. Give me some aliens. Flying saucers. Give me some aliens, baby. Give me something. Make it creative. Give me a better wrestling actor. I'm knowing now with this, that's what I was looking for, that section. I just, oh my God. It's like he's about to find Muhammad Atta's passport on the ground. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the missiles have been launched. Oh, what's that on the ground? My producer. Sorry, live. My producer has just contacted me. One sec. What is this? Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, it's Muhammad Atta's passport. It was just on the ground here. It fell out of the sky. It was on a ballistic missile fired from Iran. It's been shot down, and Muhammad Atta's passport has fallen out of the Iranian missile. Oh my God. Oh, evidence. I'm going insane. Vladislav Surkov, eat your heart out. So let's talk about what a real exchange of gunfire would look like. Don't talk about war. Iran's finished, man. They have no radar systems. They're raped. They're helpless. They're a drugged 14-year-old, drugged on Jeffrey Epstein's bed, naked, drugged, unconscious. That's Iran. A real exchange would be aimed at the port of Haifa. They've never touched it. Remember Hezbollah, we shall attack the ammonia tank farms. And if they did, it would cause massive damage. That stuff's toxic. And the big ammonia tank farms and the chemical and the industrial or the Negev desert, never touched it, not a bit, not once. All right, they're not going to aim any missiles at that stuff. This is all arranged like they always do. A decapitation operation, if they kill Ayatollah Khamenei and any generals that don't play ball, that don't want their Swiss bank accounts padded, the IRGC is filled with greedy little hoes. The young men who always end up getting murdered and killed, whether they're in Hezbollah and Hamas, who have been degraded forever, who are willing to fight to the death, they will be used while their masters, of course, pad their Swiss bank accounts. So what they will do is, of course, the usual method, which is money. Just pad the bank account, tell them how it's going to be. You're going to either have gold or you'll have bombs. Which do you prefer? And we'll see how this goes. They're not stupid. The Iranians are very smart. They're not stupid. They know that they can't win this. So when you see the big mouth talking, they're either senile, mentally ill, or on drugs or something. They know exactly what's going on, and this will be very arranged, the whole thing. It would not surprise me if this is a rapid de-escalation. And as I said, what you need is someone to hold Iran together. You do not want it fracturing and breaking up. It's got a lot of ethnic and religious and very nasty, shall we call it, blood feuds going on. They don't want that. You don't want to fracture it and force it into the arms of the EU. And that's one of their number one worries. They want Iran pro-America. I mean, I wish it was pro-America and America had a Bill of Rights and a constitution it actually stuck to. But here we sit in the Ari and Rahm Emanuel roadshow. We'll see. I have seen some positive signs, but it's a little overwhelming, the ongoing garbage, you know. But we'll see. We'll see. Look, we're going to win, or the truth will win. It's just a matter of how many die along the way. I want to see the Iranians freed, and I want to see apologies to the Arabs, the Middle East. There's got to be apologies. And you never know, maybe there will be. But I'm worried about the ongoing building of autonomous killing machines. And that is the huge worry. Huge worry. The president is completely out of touch on food prices. All I hear from Americans is just how hard the prices of everything, not just that, taxes, land tax, your house tax, your insurance, everything is more expensive, radically more expensive. And I guess they're going to come in and save the day. There's 3 more years to go. Remember, it's quite a while to go yet. So I presume they're going to save the best for last, which will be new technology they're going to unveil. I remember 2016, Alex Jones said Trump would release the technology, and they probably will. But a decapitation, look, I hope Iran is freed in the classic word in some manner. Tourism, trust me, the tourism, they're going to make a fortune just from tourism. Like, I loved it there, man. People are very friendly, very nice, very smart. It looks like Arabs I meet, when I was over there. They're very friendly, very traditional, very nice, very polite, and very understanding. And before you even open your mouth and express any solidarity with them, they're very friendly and understand. When they find, when I said, well, I spent 3 years in jail, they were like, whoa, they're hugging you, they're feeding you, they're stuffing you full of Lebanese sweets. And, these people are saying, please, just stop killing us. Can you please stop killing us? Please? Charlie Kirk? Jesus on your lips with the demon in your heart? Or the demon on your shoulder, Chabad Lubavitch. My minimum standard for the Trump administration is an end to Kushner, Chabad Lubavitch, Howard Lutnick, Stephen Miller. What did Steve Bannon say? Thank God for Stephen Miller, he said. Because of Stephen Miller, he set up the legal and the law firms to help them when Bannon and said we were all getting reamed, we were all getting hammered, they were shutting our bank accounts, and Stephen Miller came to the rescue. Yes, the Jew giveth and the Jew taketh and the Jew giveth. That's the way it goes in the great game. Jewish power, just remember a lot of Jews, they'll sacrifice millions. They don't care, they couldn't give a hoot about Jews. They don't even care about Chabad. That's the scum to them. They're the brown shirts. They get rid of them. These are sophisticated people. These are, in between Epstein Island visits and other places. All right. So the decapitation will go ahead. I predict a very short war. There'll be a missile strike on a thing. The Houthis have said we will begin bombing. The Hezbollah is going to blah, 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 wank, 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 wah, wah, wah. And we're going to get the same old rhetoric garbage, which always seems to just keep right on going, like the garbage we just watched then. Putting on his flak jacket, all that stuff. One apartment building in Tel Aviv gets hit and say, we told you it's what do you mean? One apartment building, Gaza is leveled. Stop it. Just stop your ridiculous thing. When I see them attack the ammonia tank farms in the port of Haifa, when I see them attack Haifa, when I see them attack the reactor in the Negev, when I see them attack Intel, when I see them hit the Intel fabrication factory, there's 11 billion of it. When I see that, I'll say, wow, that looks pretty sincere. Till then, it's bullshit, all right? It's garbage. It's always garbage. You saw Trump gave the game away in Fox News. He said, they call me up, oh, please don't attack us. We're just going to fire some missiles, they'll miss. Please don't attack us. Come on, man. Let's stop this garbage. All the IRGC's got their Swiss bank accounts padded, and we'll see how this goes, see how this grows, see how it goes. It's an interesting time geopolitically. It's also slightly depressing if you're just attuned to the truth. It's like, oh, you roll your eyes, they get away with this garbage. Tucker's not going to tell you who did 9/11. Candace ain't going to tell you. They're not going to tell you what the Ode Genom plan is. They're not going to tell you all the basic stuff we all knew, everybody talked about. But this is the new age. They've wiped out the truth and they've replaced it with their garbage. They've replaced it with their out-and-out Jew baiting to get your attention, but then nothing ever happens and nothing ever changes. This is about controlling narratives, controlling expectations, managing populations. It's called psychological warfare, and that's what you see unfolding. And you know it's a lie because it's all over your internet feed. That's how you know. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Saturday, the 28th of February, 2026. I'm in Querétaro, Mexico. It's 07:34 hours, 7:34 in the morning. I hope that gives you a rundown of the garbage that's going on. And I expect this will be a short exchange, and it's going to be very interesting how they handle Iran. Remember, they have to be gentle, and a decapitation strike is entirely possible. Particularly, I thought they'd take out a ton of the mullahs, a ton of the religious leadership, but let the Ayatollah go, let him run to Russia. But remember, there's a lot of complications with this because you got 250,000 people. IRGC, they're not just going to give up easily. They are not going to just give up easily. You got a hardcore in Iran. So how they handle it exactly is going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. But I just keep telling you, the logical course of action is former President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. He's what they would call a hardliner, but he's never was a hardliner. He was a reformer. But he was a sincere revolutionary, whether you like him or not. You like his little tiger claw hand signs with the Muslim Brotherhood and the pyramid-shaped parliament building with 33 windows. We get it. But I believe he's absolutely sincere, and he's not stupid, and he understands power. And if the Iranians are treated with some dignity and Israel is put in its place with Bibi, they'll set up the dialectic of some form of the Federated States of Greater Israel in some form, in some name. And of course, Persian Empire 2.0. Somebody's got to handle the stands. And the US elites, of course, want control of that. And they want it out of the hands of the EU. I don't notice the European people being freed anytime soon. And the natural allies is not Russia. That's not the natural ally of the US. The natural ally of the United States with European values is Europe, a free Europe, free of the parasite of the Hufjuden, the court Jews, the elites, the inbreds who have interbred and intermarried with the inbred scum of the old Venetian families, of the old royal noble families of Europe, all equally scum, whether they're Jews or not, born to rule, born to breed. They're all degenerate, filthy scum, every last one of them, probably except Kate and King William, who will probably end up being put on the royals. They're at least reasonably decent people, but otherwise they're all pieces of garbage, coke-snorting pieces of literal garbage. Free Europe, free America, free the world. Ladies and gentlemen, interesting times. I got to finish that video on El Mencho, and then I got to have lunch. And when you're in Querétaro, Mexico, about the only joy I have in amongst your daily struggles to survive, I don't have the same struggles you have. My struggles are very different and very long-term and very ongoing. But if there's one thing that will buoy my spirits, it's a nice bit of cheesecake or apple pie and a triple shot in a large grande latte, caliente, leche regular. Ladies and gentlemen, hang in there. It's interesting times. Stop worrying. Get happy. Plan for the future. Keep speaking the truth. Engage in politics. Do not spend the next 10 years panicking, waiting for the end. It's not going to happen. Certainly not yet. We'll talk again real soon.